Hello, everyone. Today I want to share another real story from my life. All of these stories are either educational, warnings, or life lessons. Maybe they can help somebody avoid the same situation. This one happened after the problems with my old Mazda Tribute. The car problem. You may remember from my earlier videos, my first car in America was a used Mazda Tribute, around 2005 model year. Cheap, simple, old, but it worked. It was basically my workhorse. Transmission issue. After a trip to Niagara Falls, the transmission started failing on the way back. First and second gear were slipping badly. The car struggled to move, especially at intersections and traffic lights. Sometimes it barely shifted. Trying to fix it, I started thinking, what should I do? Can it even be repaired? Mechanics are expensive in New York. First, I tried the simplest option, changing the transmission fluid. No result. We changed the fluid. There were metal shavings inside, which was already a bad sign. But it didn't help. The problem stayed exactly the same. The second repair shop. Later, while driving through Brooklyn, I stopped at another repair shop. I had been there before years earlier, but the owners had changed. Now it was run by Spanish-speaking guys. My request. I told them very clearly, I only want to understand the transmission problem. That's it. I didn't ask for a full repair. I didn't ask for diagnostics on the entire car. Strange behavior. At first, they didn't seem interested. Then suddenly they changed their minds and pulled the car into the garage. I stayed nearby and watched everything carefully. Wrong repairs. But instead of checking the transmission, the mechanics started doing completely different things. Spark plugs, battery, wires, fuel filter, brakes, everything except the transmission. Frustration. I kept repeating, the problem is the transmission. The car cannot shift properly. I don't need all this other work. But they ignored me completely. The trap. At some point, I realized something was wrong. They were doing random repairs just to create a bill. The confrontation. When they finally finished, I told them, guys, we already discussed this. I didn't ask for all these repairs. You didn't fix the transmission. I'm not paying for services I never requested. What happened next? Then the owner walked over, got into my car, took the keys, and walked into the office. Shock. Just like that, he took my keys and said, "Pay first." Pressure tactic. There was also a huge guy standing nearby, like security. He didn't say anything, but clearly his job was to intimidate people. Realization. At that moment, I understood exactly what was happening. This was not honest business. It was a scam. The bill. In the end, they charged me $435 for repairs I never wanted, and none of it fixed the actual problem. Why? It made no sense. The car itself cost only about $3,000. If the transmission was dead, I would simply sell the car as is. Why would I spend money on random repairs? Looking back, later I realized the moment I should have left. As soon as the mechanic stopped focusing on the transmission and started checking unrelated things, I should have driven away immediately. Important warning. And this is important. I was standing there watching everything. Imagine how many people simply sit in the waiting room while mechanics do whatever they want. The shop. The shop still exists today. Marinita Auto Repair Shop, 2045 McDonald Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. I personally would never recommend going there. Final thought. So be careful. Ask questions. Watch what mechanics are actually doing, and don't let people pressure you into paying for work you never approved. Outro. That was another real story from my life in America. If this video was useful, subscribe, leave a comment, and share your own experience. See you in the next video.